The night never truly leaves some places. Even when the lights go out, even when the doors are locked, even when people walk away and pretend they have forgotten, something remains. A breath, a whisper, a memory stitched into crumbling walls. Nowhere is this more true than in the abandoned hospitals of the United Kingdom, where healing once lived, but where silence now rules. This is not just a story about empty buildings. This is a story about human presence, loss, fear, and the haunting echo of lives that once depended on these places. Imagine standing in front of an old hospital in the UK. The windows are broken, some boarded up with splintered wood, others cracked like frozen glass. Ivy crawls up the brick walls, claiming what humans have left behind. The once white exterior is now stained with dirt, rain, and time. The sign at the entrance hangs crooked, letters faded, barely readable. The front doors, once automatic and welcoming, now creak in the wind. Metal rusts, paint peels. A faint smell of dampness lingers in the air, a mix of decay, mold, and something deeper, something almost painful. Step inside. Your footsteps echo across cracked tiles. The reception desk sits abandoned, papers still scattered across its surface, as if someone simply stood up and never returned. Old files lie open, patient names printed in ink that is now blurred with age. A broken computer monitor stares blankly into nothing. Somewhere down the corridor, a door slams shut. You didn't touch it. No one else is here, but the sound is real. This is what it feels like to step inside one of the UK's most terrifying abandoned hospitals. These places were once symbols of hope. People came here to be born, to be healed, to say goodbye to loved ones. Nurses walked these halls in white uniforms. Doctors made life-or-death decisions in sterile operating rooms. Families waited anxiously in brightly lit waiting areas. Now, those same halls are filled with darkness. In one abandoned hospital in northern England, old wheelchairs sit frozen in time. Their metal frames are rusted, their seats torn. Some are tipped over as if their last occupants vanished mid-escape. Along the walls, faded posters still hang, reminders about hygiene, patient care, mental health awareness. They feel cruelly ironic now, in a place where neglect has taken over. Further inside, the old wards remain eerily intact. Rows of iron hospital beds aline the room, some still covered with thin, yellowed mattresses. Metal rails are bent, sheets are stained, pillows lie flat and lifeless. Dust coats everything like a thick, suffocating blanket. If you stand still long enough, you can almost hear it. Faint beeping of machines, murmurs of nurses, whispered prayers of families. But when you turn your head, there is nothing, only silence. One of the most infamous abandoned hospitals in the UK is hidden deep in the countryside, surrounded by overgrown trees and tangled bushes. Locals rarely speak of it. Those who do lower their voices, as if the building itself might be listening. Built in the early 1900s, it once treated thousands of patients. During wartime, it served as a refuge for the injured. Later, it became a psychiatric hospital, a place where those struggling with mental illness were sent, often against their will. Stories about this place are disturbing. Former patients spoke of cold treatment, isolation, and experimental therapies that blurred the line between medicine and cruelty. Some never left. Some died within its walls. Some were buried nearby in unmarked graves. Now, decades later, the hospital stands empty. Explorers who have entered describe the same chilling experience, feeling watched, hearing footsteps behind them, seeing shadows move across walls when no one is there. In the basement, old medical equipment still sits abandoned. Surgical tools rest inside glass cabinets covered in dust. A rusted gurney leans against the wall. A cracked mirror reflects your face in a warped, distorted way, making you look like someone else, someone older, more frightened. In one corner, an old electroshock therapy machine remains, wires tangled like black veins. Touching it feels wrong, as if it still holds the pain of those who once suffered under its power. As you move deeper into the hospital, the temperature drops. The air feels heavier, harder to breathe. Your heart beats faster, not because of the stairs, but because of something you can't see. On the top floor, the children's ward remains particularly haunting. Bright murals of smiling animals still decorate the walls, faded rabbits, playful bears, cheerful sunflowers. But their colors have drained with time, leaving them looking hollow, almost sad. Tiny beds line the room, far too small for adults. Some explorers claim to have heard soft footsteps here, like those of a child running across the floor. Others say they've seen small handprints appear on dusty windows, only to disappear moments later. Why were these hospitals abandoned? Many were shut down due to funding cuts, outdated facilities, or changes in healthcare policy. New modern hospitals replaced them, leaving these massive structures to rot. But that explanation feels incomplete. Because abandonment is not just about money or progress, it is about forgetting. Entire lifetimes are trapped inside these walls. Joy, pain, fear, relief, love, and grief, all of it soaked into the bricks. In another abandoned hospital near London, the operating theater remains disturbingly preserved. The metal surgical lights hang overhead, their bulbs long dead. The tiled walls, once spotless, are now cracked and stained. On the floor, faint marks outline where the operating table once stood. Standing there, you can almost picture it. Doctors in masks, nurses passing instruments, a patient lying helpless beneath bright lights, life hanging by a thread. And then, in the distance, you hear a metallic clang. You turn, nothing, just empty corridors stretching endlessly into darkness. Some urban explorers who visit these places bring recording devices hoping to capture evidence of paranormal activity. Many claim to have picked up strange voices, unexplained breathing, or footsteps that don't belong to anyone present. Skeptics say it's just wind, old pipes, or the building settling, but those who have been inside know the truth feels different. Fear here is not just imagined, it is felt in your bones. Outside, nature slowly reclaims everything. Trees grow through broken windows, grass pushes up through cracked concrete, birds nest in shattered ceilings. The hospitals, once monuments of human achievement, are now reminders of human impermanence. Yet, despite the decay, people are drawn to them. Why? Because abandoned hospitals hold stories we are afraid to face. They force us to confront mortality, suffering, and the fragile nature of life. They remind us that even the places meant to save us can be left behind. At night, these buildings become something else. Moonlight spills through broken windows, casting long shadows across the floors. Wind howls through empty corridors like distant cries. Doors creak open on their own. Somewhere, a faint light flickers, though no electricity runs through the building anymore. If you stand outside and look up at the dark windows, you might feel like something is looking back at you. Perhaps it is just your imagination, or perhaps in the UK's most terrifying abandoned hospitals, something still remains, waiting, watching, remembering. And the scariest part is, these places were once filled with life. Now they are filled with silence that feels almost alive. As dawn approaches, the hospital stands still once more, bathed in pale morning light. To an outsider, it looks like nothing more than a ruined building. But to those who have stepped inside, it is far more than that. It is a grave of memories, a museum of suffering, a frozen moment where time refused to move on. And somewhere within its dark, forgotten halls, the past still walks,